Well, hello, and thanks for hanging out there. We are having lots of fun here at AOPP Central, getting these live broadcasts going. So I apologize again for our tardiness, but we hopefully have all the technical difficulties taken care of. So welcome to our Thursday Live. I'm Dr. Jerry Dreessen, the Executive Director here at the Association of PEMF Providers, and today, we're going to be talking about PEMF in the real world as far as the 7 most common use cases and how practitioner sessions are structured. And I think we'll just jump right into it. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to drop them in to the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer them live. Or if you're watching the recording, thanks for watching that. Feel free to drop in any questions that you have during that time too. So as you know, PEMF gets talked about like a concept, and today we're going to talk about the real world ways that practitioners use it. And some of you are stumbling upon this video going, well, who's this guy? What's this all about? And those of you are members of the AOPP, and those of you are PEMF users and have been asked to watch some of these videos so you get a better idea of what PEMF is or what the AOPP is all about. And so we're going to be talking some real world stuff that's going on. Now, as a doctor, I can go into the diagnosis treatment phase, but as practitioners, you have to use a different set of languages. And so we're going to be what we call the wellness lane. So it's all about comfort, recovery, resilience, and performance support. And if you walk that lane of what you say, you'll be fine. And as again, some of the vet boards, some of the medical boards, they're kind of waking up to our organization, but also you as practitioners as there become more of them. And they really like what we have put together for our practitioners and users of PEMF, because our certification programs go through all of the red flags that they are, want to make sure things aren't being crossed. And the bottom line is that if you're working with somebody or an animal that you overlook or miss something that could have been taken care of had a vet or medical doctor looked at or at least known about, so that that relationship could be formed. But to them, it's like, well, why didn't you tell us that this was happening? And it's like, well, I didn't know. It's because you haven't been taught how to do all of the consultation, diagnosis, those things to come up with a problem. So the lane that we're walking in, of course, is wellness, comfort, recovery, resilience. And let's dig right into the 7 most common uses. And the first one, of course, is getting into the recovery and performance routines. So usually like athletes or weekend warriors, they have manual labor. Sometimes these, and we call them weekend warriors in our clinic, they have fun and they work out. They do, 10K, Ironman, all the heavy fun stuff on the weekends, and then they come back to work and they get injured, or they got injured on the weekend and now they can't work. But even at work, people getting hurt. So there's the manual labor, there's sport horses, there's working dogs. And so they want to bounce back faster. They want to stop feeling beat up in the morning or during their training. And, as we notice with the animals, that they're sore after hard work or they recover slower. So those are some of the things that we hear, or the lane that we walk in with people or owners. And so what we want to talk about is some comfort and mobility, and jumping back one. So the 7 most common uses. So recovery and performance is the first one. As we get into number 2, comfort and mobility support. And again, these are with aging humans, senior dogs, older horses. But the people that show up to this are older adults. They're chronic stiff clients, seniors, pets, older horses. I had a client come in yesterday. He had a fracture of L1 from lifting. He is 89 years old, osteoporotic, and he already has 3 vertebrae below that are degenerative and fused together. So it's like, yeah, I bent over and felt a pop, went to my doctor, got an x-ray. I broke another vertebra. That's kind of how he said it. It's like, yeah, that's just me. That's what I do. Or people will cough and they'll break a rib. And it's like, yeah, I broke another one. Some of these people are just entering the world of chronicity where they're like, I went out this weekend. I started working in the yard, and I'm noticing that I get more sore, more frequent, and it takes longer to get better. Well, again, PEMF is designed for those kinds of people. They use it, and then they stand up. They go, "Wow, I feel better," and it's because they are better. And I tell them that it's because you are better. My son, when he was using PEMF, used it on an older shepherding dog. And the owner immediately noticed. He said, "Yeah, you put the pup back in my dog." And so those of you that use it know that too. The next one is stress and downregulation and sleep support. So this is for the busy professionals. This is for the caregivers, some anxious clients, animals that are going to have a stressy behavior or difficulty settling. On the human side, it's like my nervous system is fried. I can't shut off. I can't, I can sleep, but I'm like every 2 hours and I wake up, and these people are just sitting in a huge stew of cortisol. They're just, everything's just going and going and going and going. And they don't have anything to knock them over the other side into the cortisol system. And you can work with calming music, breath work. Take 60 seconds and think about nothing. For animals, once they relax, you can start to turn it on and use it then. And then the main thing on this one is just keeping the sessions predictable. So for a lot of these people, it's like, okay, here's what we're going to do today. This is our start, this is our middle, and our finish. So basically present them the box, and they're like, okay, I can deal with that, versus like, well, what's next? What am I supposed to do next? And some of these people are like, I need you to give me homework so I can do it at home. And, they're like all stressed out about how they're stressed out. And again, PEMF does have a calming effect on that too, but you'll start to see those kinds of people. And then also in the animals, they're licking, they're chewing, they're sighing, they've got their head lower, they got softer eyes, some decreased reactivity, and then ability to just stand quietly. So you can tell when your animals are stressed out too. And some of the red flags are panic symptoms, severe insomnia, some self-harm risking going on. So if you see any of that, always encourage professional support. You might even know somebody who does professional support that you can refer them to. And it's like, here's a great person to begin talking with, where you can get this help. And a lot of people, they're looking, but they're so stressed out they don't know where to look. And the same thing with with animal owners. It's like, well, here's a great person that can help you with that, and they'll thank you more than you think once you help them out with that. The next one, number 4, post-procedure wellness support with some medical oversight. So people are animals in recovery window after surgery, procedure, or an injury that's under a provider's plan. So with that, that's actually a really cool place to be, where you are helping this person and the providers watching the changes taking place too. So those are some really great places for you to be as a PEMF professional, and having those relationships. And then pretty soon the providers will start talking about you and what you can do, and they'll have you work more on their clients and patients and animals. And then also they'll talk within their circles too. which is a great place to be. And you can grab these things and make them be case studies and say, well, when I worked with Dr. So and so, or this vet, they can be nameless. When I worked with this doctor or this vet, they had a client, patient, animal that had this problem, and they were coming out of surgery for blank. And because I got to use PEMF on them for these sessions, we were able to increase their healing time, or get them back into recovery, or to recover without infection, or however the outcome was. Then you get to use that as a case study. So get more of those for you, and your case studies can go on your website, they can go on your Google profile, business Google business profile, your LinkedIn, your Facebook page, your YouTube channel, all of those things. And so, again, what you want to track is comfort rating, the energy, appetite, sleep, um, gentle mobility tolerances, mood. And then the credibility statement is, we support the recovery environment. The clinician manages the diagnosis and treatment plan. So that's probably the really good lane to be in for that. And then again, red flags are infections, fever, worsening swelling, sudden regression. If you are there and experience that, and that person or animal has not alerted their caregiver, then you get to be the person, which is good, to say you need to call them immediately and let them know what's going on. So again, you can be a factor in their getting better quicker too, by recognizing those things. Number 5 is maintenance or resilience, and then just keeping me tuned up. It's like the wellness plan. It's like, come in once a month, or if you're busy, come in once a week, or come out and do 30 minutes, or go to the barn and all the horses get 20 minutes, 30 minutes, once a month. So you're not really focused on an area, although they might show up during your wellness, but you're just keeping things from getting bad, or you're topping off the tank of wellness. And people say, I don't want to wait till it's a problem. I feel better when I'm consistent. And I have those people coming into the clinic with that too. Some common session structure is, you set a cadence, so it's weekly, bi-weekly. You get them on your calendar. You just keep that consistency going, and you can use micro check-ins. You can even use an app or texting them and saying, I'm going to be in tomorrow, just reminding you Thursdays when I come in for a half hour. So you can put that all together. Some of you have the ability to send out calendar alerts. So when they get it, or when you put it on your calendar, you put their email in it and they get sent out a calendar alert. So it's locked in, and then you can see that they received it. So there's lots of great electronic ways of helping that out. And again, maintenance is not random. It's planned consistency with simple metrics. So you want to time these things right, and how long before they notice and want a session again. When I am with patients, it's, hey, we got you to this point. Now let's go out a week. Okay, you're great. Now let's go out 2 weeks. Okay, you're great. Now let's go out 3 weeks. Okay, oh, yeah, you still have the problems. Okay, let's do every 3 weeks for a while. Hey, you're doing pretty good. Let's try 4 weeks. So oftentimes we don't have a cookie cutter system. Everybody's unique and different. So we'll plan these events, and I always tell people, I'm going to tag you and release you out into the wild for 4 weeks and see how you are. If you have a problem, call me, come back in. So that's some of the ways that we do. Others are like, hey, with how busy you are, you need to come in twice a week. Or with your weekend warrior stuff, you should be coming in once a week. That way your performance on the weekend never suffers. So those are some things that we use. And then as we get into number 6 is the workload support. So desk strain, people that are in the trades, caretakers, barn work. So these are the massage therapists. These are the chiropractors, the nurses, barn owners, grooms, parents, people that are do standing all the time. So like even in the industry, like seamstress, or people that work the front counter. These are your grocery store people. I've gone into grocery stores and set up PEMF and done like a free 30-second or free 5 minute if people, just to introduce people to it. And if somebody's working, I say, hey, when you are on your break, if you have a minute, come and see me. I want to try this on your wrists. So those are some cool things that you can do too. Or when you're done with your shift, those are some things. But if you are, looking to work with somebody, said, hey, let me know when you've got a 5-minute break. I'll come after work or on your lunch break. I'll come into the break room and try this out on your staff, on you. A lot of times, well, I'm coming from a chiropractic side, but there are guys that they're out skiing on the weekends or on their day off, or they're mountain biking and they're just beating themselves up because that's what they do. Especially like sports chiropractors, they're out sporting. So if you can get in there and say, hey, let me put this on your body, so that way you'll see next time you do your event, um, you can see what's going on. If you can get into events like Ironmans or powerlifting and talk to the sponsors and say, hey, can I set up a booth over here? That's really good too. We've done that with horses as well, where where there are events, and we'll set up on the side and work on horses and riders, and have had made really good connections with that too. Where are we? Number 7. So this is the last one on our sevens today. So behavior and comfort overlap. So animals that are guarded or reactive or touchy, and these are animals that are hard to handle, sensitive to touch. They tense, they're unpredictable. Um, pins his ears. She's reactive, doesn't want to be saddled, is grumpy in the stall. And sometimes those are the riders, right? um, so start with trust. So there's a consent-based session flow. So it's the approach, pause, observe, proceed. Um, as with the wild animals like the bears and the tigers and jaguars and stuff, oftentimes you can, not so much bears, but you can work on the cage that they're in while they're being fed. So they're already in a happy place, and you can introduce this. Those of you that work with these animals know what I'm talking about. I've even seen PEMF on giraffes, which is just crazy. But you're in the second story and they walk up to you. That's always the cool thing, is when you see these wild animals walk up to you for PEMF. And that has always spoke volumes on how awesome PEMF is, because placebo is totally ruled out when they're like leaning up against the window or the cage because they want to be closer to it. Or even just horses when they run up to you because they know you're the PEMF person. But again, just start with consent-based flow. Start with short sessions in a calm setting, and have a consistent routine. Be careful what you smell like, because that in and of itself could trigger somebody or an animal. But watch the animal, lead the pace, and don't chase outcomes. And then document the demeanor before and after. So whatever your checkboxes is, and we went over some of that last week too. Create your checkbox system, so that way you keep track of these things. So an important boundary, of course, is behavioral issues that may be pain related or medical. So encourage the vet evaluation where appropriate. Sometimes they might be off their medications and be totally different than when they're on their medications. And remember, PEMF helps the cells absorb medication even better. So it might increase the absorbability for that time that you're there. So if there's a different reaction to the human or the animals, because they are now internally on a higher dose of medication because they've absorbed more of it. So just be on the alert, which is why we recommend, drinking water before and after. If you can get the animal to, get some fluid in them first, before, or definitely after a session, that would help out too. So wrapping this up. So basically, over the next 7 weeks, my suggestion is Pick one of these 7, and not overcomplicate it, but commit to a 3-session consistency window before major changes. Just, if they're like, why am I not experiencing anything yet? Sometimes they get worse. It's like, I tried that and I had a headache. Well, again, it's a detox, know to recognize. And if you can say all of these things ahead of time, so your pre-care consultation is, I'm going to be doing this. You need to be drinking water. You may experience soreness or headache as your body's going through a detox, which is great. That's what we want. If you're experiencing those things, make sure you're drinking a lot of water. If you're on any medications, I need to know that, only because sometimes medications become more powerful when you're under PEMF because your body's absorbing more of it. So those are, as it's happening and they're reacting, then they'll go, oh, that's because you told me that would happen, versus like, why is this happening? So that'll help them out, especially those people that stress out. And then just change one variable at a time, whether it's the frequency or the duration or where you place it or the power or what they're doing, if they're sitting or standing or, rubber tubing or doing weights. Just don't change things all at once. And again, that's the best way, because if you change 3 things and they're really sore, what are those? Do you not do all those 3 things? Which of those 3 things caused it, or was it all 3 things? So if you're doing one thing and they're okay, then you add another thing and they're okay. You do a third thing and then things are messed up, then it was that third thing. So that's the reason you would want to do that. And then if you can't explain what you've changed, you can't explain why the results changed. So that's always the big one there too. So again, thank you very much for those of you that are live. I see you, and love having you on board, and love having the thumbs up and the hearts. That always helps out too with our algorithms. So this has been a talk today on PEMF in the real world and 7 most common use cases, which we've gone through. I appreciate your time and things that you can do to help us out. Maybe we get that 30-second country, because we're in 31. But you can like and share here at the AOPP, just wherever you are right now, whether you're on LinkedIn. Oh, look at that. I got 5 hearts just like that. Bam. Thanks. Whether you're on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, anything that you can do on those channels, share with your friends, share to your channels. Those of you that have Facebook business channels, sharing this information helps your algorithms grow too. So anything that you can do to help promote your business with us being part of that, we love doing that too for you. And if you're seeing this for the first time, wondering what the heck we're all about, check us out. Go to our website, PEMFprofessionals.com, where you can learn all about us, how we do certifications. Our goal is to help you be a better PEMF user, whether it's with humans, small animals, large animals, and for you to be able to show that you have that certification brings you up to the next level. And presenting yourself in front of professionals. If you go to a place and there's vets that are there and you see that you're a member of the AOPP, it's going to help bring you up to that level. So it's a great reason to join, because you get a whole bunch of stuff when you're on the inside, and you can check that out too on our website. If I have generated any questions today, if you have any tips on things that you've done that have worked really well, send them our way, info@PEMFprofessionals.com. We'd love to hear from you. And again, with that, thank you so much. And I will see you again next week. Hopefully we'll get these problems sorted out so I can land right on the bottom of the hour. But I love the fact that you are with us right now. So take care, and we'll see you next time.